As everyone knows, the Rolling Stones arc elevated the entire Golden Wind series. At this point, Giorno hadn't joined Bucciarotti's team yet. The timeline is right when he's dealing with Leaky Eye Luca at the airport. Meanwhile, in an Italian restaurant, Bucciarotti was discussing their next moves with his team members. Pulpo wanted him to investigate Leaky Eye Luca's death, but before they could act, a flower shop owner came to ask Bucciarotti for help. He wanted Bucciarotti to investigate his daughter's death. And so, the story of Golden Wind's Rolling Stones arc began. Bucciarotti was puzzled. Why would such an honest man come to the mob for help? It turned out that a few months ago, he learned that his 17-year-old daughter had gotten a boyfriend. He heard the guy was a young sculptor who just started his career, but not long after, his daughter fell to her death from the top of her apartment building, clutching a strange stone the sculptor had carved. At this point, the flower shop owner, who'd lost his beloved daughter, was overcome with grief. Now all he wanted was for Bucciarotti to avenge his daughter and make that sculptor pay for what he'd done. This caught Bucciarotti off guard. Logically speaking, if a murder happened in this city, he should have known about it as a member of the gang, but the flower shop owner explained that the police hadn't properly investigated. They'd simply concluded that his daughter had jumped to her death on her own. But some things only family members would know. He believed his daughter wasn't the type to commit suicide, so he begged Bucciarotti once more to make that guy who got away with it feel the same despair and pain he felt. Unexpectedly, Bucciarotti flat out refused. After all, they weren't the kind of hitmen who helped people settle personal grudges. However, Bucciarotti could try to help the old man get the boyfriend to talk and reveal the truth. If the sculptor really was guilty, then he'd accept the old man's money. Bucciarotti immediately ordered Mista to investigate the sculptor. But just as Mista stood up, a strange stone suddenly appeared on his seat. It had the character for murder carved on it, and the moment his finger touched it, the words "kill me" eerily appeared. Mista was completely baffled, but with Fugo urging him on, he didn't think much of it. Since Bucciarotti was going to investigate Leaky Eye Luca's case anyway, he could drop Mista off on the way. Before that, Bucciarotti gave Mista the photo and the apartment address. If the guy refused to tell the truth, Mista could get a little rough, but once they confirmed he was the killer, Bucciarotti told him to beat him half to death so he wouldn't be able to stand for at least 4 or 5 years, then hand him over to the police. But right then, that strange stone from before suddenly appeared again. But when he looked more carefully, there was nothing there. Little did he know, on the way to the apartment, Mista was shocked to spot that strange stone again. Was he seeing things? They soon arrived at their destination. Seeing that Mista seemed distracted, Bucciarotti decided to go with him to check things out. He'd leave the Leaky Eye Luca investigation to Fugo. Mista arrived at the apartment and pressed the elevator button. He looked over the sculptor's information again. The name was Scalippi, but when the elevator doors slowly opened, he was completely stunned. Mista immediately drew his gun and fired, shattering the stone. At the same time, he discovered there was actually someone hiding in the elevator. He instantly realized he was being attacked by a stand user, but the stone in front of him suddenly transformed into Bucciarotti's likeness.